Three. Hello, we're Geeks Assembled, and today we have assembled to discuss the 1968 Hammer production, and it is called The Devil Rides Out, also known in America as The Devil's Bride, starring Christopher Lee and Charles Gray. So we will go around this little group here, and we're going to find out what they think of this movie. So we'll go for opening thoughts first. Um, we'll go to Susan first. What do you say?
Well, it was interesting. It was sort of slow, but it had some pretty exciting bits. Had a car chase. That was cool. It had a really wrecked motor car. A bit wind in the willows there. No, I'm just kidding. No, it was Christopher Lee playing a good guy, playing a sincere, sort of sensitive good guy. That was cool. Not his heavy metal self, you know. And Christopher Lee did heavy metal records right before he died. Yeah, right. Here he is being. He's a good actor, anyway. Delightful British countryside with a bunch of villagers who had gone around the twist, decided that because they were so bored, they're gonna try to evoke Satan, and that was just stupid because Christopher Lee was there fighting for these other people, and there was a young couple, man and woman. Maybe they didn't even know each other, but anyway, I got the sense that they'd known each other ahead of time, and they were both trying to, go through the dark baptism of whatever. I I kind of liked it. Anyway, that's my bit. Alex should do his some other time since he's not sitting right here.
Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah, it was atmospheric. It was interesting. It sort of reminded me a little bit of four other movies I could mention, like Rope and a couple of others. But it was scary. And if it was in the what year was this out? 50s, 60s?
It was made in 1967, 68.
I'm sorry, 1968. Did you say? Yeah, then that's pretty advanced. And of course, if this is a branch of the Hammer horror, or if it is doing a tribute, it's still a very good job. Of course, I've seen so much similar things that it probably didn't impress me as much, but they still did a very good job.
Thank you, Alex. Susan. We'll go to Beef Dad next. See what he has to say.
Well, long before this came out, I had read all the Dennis Wheatley books. The Devil Rides Out, The Devil a Daughter. There's just so many of them. Absolutely brilliant writer, Dennis Wheatley. The stories are all excellent. And of course, when Christopher Lee was cast as the Duke de Richelieu, that for me was the biggest present I could have had at the time, because he is absolutely perfect as the Duke de Richelieu, and Charles Gray is absolutely superb as McCarter the Satanist. And you got people like Gwen Frankham Davis, who did Doctor Who. who plays the Countess in this, another one of the Satanists. But yeah, it's a brilliant story. Patrick Moore, of course, playing Simon, and he went on to do, excuse me, he went on to do The Avengers. And yeah, there's Paul Eddington. He went on to do one of the biggest sitcoms in British history. It's an incredible cast, a brilliant story, superbly executed. Hammer did a brilliant job on this. They really did do a brilliant job on this, and I know that Dennis Wheatley's family gave it their complete approval at the time, so they all did it right. Superb. Loved it.
Thanks for that, Big Dad. I know it's gone. Christopher Lee said, years ago that this movie was his favourite Hammer roles he ever did, and he said he absolutely loved doing this film. The Dracula one, the Mummy one, the Frankenstein ones. He wasn't bothered about that. This one, yeah. We'll go to Stephen Price. And, we'll see what he has to say.
Talking of this movie, Christopher Lee was going to do it again. Was going to be remade, but he was going to be the age of the Duke or whatever, the role he played, but it never came to be. Yeah, this is one of my, out of all the horror I've seen of Christopher Lee, this is my personal favourite of him. I know he plays a good guy. I like the creepiness of when they go up to the observatory, and it gets cold and you see the spider, and the guy that played the Satanist was brilliant in it. I like the part where he hypnotized the woman in the movie. Yeah, that's my opening thoughts.
Thanks, Stephen. And we'll go to Brian. This is the first time he's watched this movie. So, he didn't like it. Brian.
Yes, it is the first time I've seen this movie. What my thoughts upon this film is intrigued. I actually like this film. I surprisingly I did like this film. I because I never heard of it before until you guys suggested it for like this review. So I thought honestly it was a really good film. I didn't recognize Christopher Lee though until I had to look it up because it didn't sound like him. It didn't sound like his normal voice that he normally has. So I didn't. So I had to really look that up on my computer here, and what do you know? It is Christopher Lee. What an absolutely amazing performance by him, I might add, because I never seen pretty much any of his stuff except Lord of the Rings and Star Wars. Those are the only two things that I've seen him in. I haven't seen him in anything else, not even Dracula. So I might have to check out a couple more of his performances that since he was been so good in this film. But the movie itself, I really enjoyed. It was just a simple, basic premise of a film. And the visual effects for the movie the visual and special effects were just low budget, but it was suitable for the film, and I really enjoyed that. And the fact that they had like this cult for worshiping and summoning devil, it was a new take and interesting for a film. Yeah, that's the film was absolutely a good film. I really enjoyed it. So
That's good to hear, Brian. Because this is what this group's about. You learn, you discover these films, what you've never seen before. I mean, okay, you mostly didn't recognise Christopher Leigh because in this movie he was only 46 in this movie. You know him from in his older days, shall we say. So some voices do change when you get older. So maybe that's why you didn't recognise his voice. But for me, yeah, it's a good.
And he was
it's a good-
acting. He was acting his pants off. I mean,
Yes, he wasn't behind a mask. He wasn't the silent killer, as like Dracula used to be. But he was acting, as he says, the Jew. This is why he said this was. Yeah, it's a fun movie. If you can say it's a fun movie about raising the devil. As you said, it's been mentioned. There's everybody. Charles Gray. I mean, Charles Gray. He was a really well-known actor. He has got one of the most distinctive voices in British film. Well, he was also known as Blofeld in one of the Bond movies, of course, and playing Sherlock Holmes' brother Mycroft in the Jeremy Brett TV series. But yeah, it's a good movie with all the rituals, cultism. The film goes straight from the first part of the film. It's straight into the story. I mean, I know you said Susan said it was a little bit slow, but it went straight to the starting. As he went through the door of the house, he was there. He was being the nosy Jew. He wanted to know what was going on, and he was up in there, finding the chickens. He was doing all this. Yeah, for me. It was a good fun movie to watch, and it's been mentioned. The special effects of the day back in 1968, they look brilliant in this. As to be mentioned, the spider, and all that. So yeah, I enjoyed this. But there again, I love Hammer films. I'm just a big fan of Hammer films. I just wish we made more films like this. So I'm going to go around the group now, ask for favourite, moments or things what you didn't like about it. We'll go reverse this time. Right. Favourite moments or things you like?
Favorite moment would probably have to be the I think it would probably my probably most favorite moment is when the towards the end from when made the circle and everything, and you get to see, and the thing I like the most is when you get to see the tarantula, and you could see how it for when it's up close, you could actually, it's just like a normal tarantula, but when you zoom out, it turns out to be big. You could like literally tell that it's low budget and they're not doing much, because when you're up close, it's like a normal tarantula and they're just shooting it, and then they expanded it to be bigger when it's outshot and not up close. So I thought that was like a bit funny and a little bit clever at the same time. So I think that is probably one of my most favorite scenes in the film. And my second favorite scene of the film is the car chase. See, I knew that Susan would like that. um, um, and finally, and most last is when they is the rescue scene from when they go to like towards the coal area and they save what's their names? Tabitha and who's the guy? Anybody?
Well, Patrick Moyer's character.
Yeah. When they save their two characters and do the whole rescue and everything, I think that's my third favorite scene. So yeah. So those are my favorite scenes within the film.
Thanks for that, Brian. Yeah. It was Stephen next. Let's go, Stephen, for his favourite moments or things he wasn't.
Yeah, my favourite moment is when they in the observatory, and he said, "Oh, it's gone cold." You can feel the spookiness of it, the creepiness of it. The spider part, and where they see him like in the forest, and he throws the cross at the devil. I like that part. And where the woman, Christopher Lee explains to her that he can't say the words, you've got to say it. And she comes out with it and they just all vanish at the end. So that was brilliant.
Brilliant. Great. Thanks for that, Stephen. Beef Dad. Now, let's see if he's going to choose the same things or go down a different.
I've got about 3 or 4. The appearance of the African guy with the creepy eyes, who stood there smiling at them, but was obviously demonic. Brilliantly played by Yemin Ajibade, and he was so creepy. He was just so creepy. I loved the circle where the Duke had formed the circle with the 4 candles to protect them from evil, and there's him and Simon in the ring and the Eatons, whose house they're staying at, and the spider comes in, and then the appearance of supposedly their daughter, Peggy. She turns up there, but the thing is, it's not her. It's all faked to try and get the Eatons out of the circle, to break the circle so that the demon spider can get to everybody. That's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And yet the goat of Mendes, yeah, the devil, absolutely superbly done, really creepy looking, played by Eddie Powell. Yeah, where they throw the cross at it, that's superb. And yet the attempted sacrifice of Peggy at the end, where her mother comes out with the last 2 lines of the summer ritual, is absolutely brilliant. It really is so good that it's the mother that saves them all, and that is just so clever. It was brilliantly written in the book by Ben Sweetley. And that's me.
Yeah. Well, that circle beef, Dad, was it 4 candles?
Ah ha 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 ha. 4 candles. Yes.
Northeast, south, and west. Yeah,
4 candles.
yeah. It's part of
4
protection.
candles. The beef Dad knows what I'm on.
Oh, well, okay. I don't know. Sorry.
It's yes, we all 4 candles. I'll go over to the critics sofa.
All right. Well, I think my favorite bit was the car chase, but specifically when he was driving along and suddenly she looks back and she's looking in the rearview mirror. How she drove and looked in the rearview mirror, I don't know, but she looked in the rearview mirror and suddenly his windshield shattered, so he punched his way through it to see.
Oh.
And so that was pretty cool. And the other bit that I liked was when the little girl was going to be sacrificed, and instead of the other lady, that was pretty intense. And I like how the mother finally came. And I love all the characters who were, just hanging around doing this thing and stuff. I mean, it's like, our lives are so that we have to screw with everybody else. Anyway, that's what I think of life in the English countryside. Am I right? I don't know. I mean, there was like this whole thing in Torchwood that was all about, countryside gone wrong. I mean, there is Downton Abbey, of course, but then there is The Devil Rides Out, which is like, what are you guys up to? Anyway, here's Alex.
All right, well, probably this is why they invented heavy metal. But again, not everybody's a devil worshiper, and they got in trouble for it. Yeah, it was another interesting and style, too, of the Hammer horror, that they were a little bit more racy and they weren't as polite as a lot of movies were back then. And you had a very good cast, usually, and you had good sets. Wasn't the best special effects, but films don't need to be that way. It was kind of interesting. It was I got a little bit of the Live and Let Die vibe from this movie. I think they were trying to do 6 subtle styles at once, but they pretty much got away with it. But like I said, yeah, I mean, as much as I like BBC and ITV, probably they don't have anything to do with this one, unless it was a co-production. But this was before they got big. And you have a great cast, great sets. The story's a little old-fashioned, but like I said, for 1968, it was a very good effort. So I wish I could get all the Hammer horror movies. They used to show a lot of them up here in Massachusetts at very odd times of the day or night. I just can't find the right price and the right amount of movies. And I wouldn't mind watching it again because you have so many good actors. You have Doctor Who base actors. You have Blake Seven actors. You have a lot of good cast, and that's one of the good things about the Hammer horror movies. They were racy. They had good casts. They had good sets. And considering the time that this was made, it's a very well done product usually.
That's that, Alex. I mean, I'd agree with what everybody says. All the tarantulas part, the horsemen coming through the wall. the circle bit, the chalk circle with the 4 candles, that scene was brilliantly done where they started attacking each other inside the circle, deadly, which was redone in Doctor Who Battlefield, if you ever remember rightly, with Ace. Yeah, so that the TV shows, it films things out of other things, but even Doctor and the Demons, really, as well. The Master trying to raise the devil. It's just a good movie. As I say, Christopher Lee is on top of his game in this, playing the Duke. And the supporting cast is just brilliant. As people had said, it's good to see Paul Eddington in this, because everybody knows him from Yes Minister and The Good Life. Because you just got to know him as being a comedy actor on TV, but here, because to be honest, I don't think I ever saw him in any other movie. I mean, he's possibly been in loads of movies, but this is the one what I always couldn't think of with Paul Edmonton. It's a good atmospheric film, and Hammer does it well. What can I say? If you get a chance to come across this, give it a watch. So, anybody else want to say on this movie, or shall we go to final say? Yep, right, that's it. Everybody's holding their peace. Oh, Beef Dad's got his finger there.
The one thing that nobody's remembered to mention is Charles Gray, that plays MacArthur, the Satanist in this. He also did the narrator in what's it called? Rocky
Horror. Alex just was,
The Rocky Horror.
that out.
Yeah. So that's it.
Okay then. Yes, as I mentioned as well, he's known for playing Blofeld, but we also had Scaramanga in this movie as well. So let's go to final say and score. Seen as we'll go to Stephen Price. What's your final say and score?
Brilliant movie. Seen it so many times I've lost count. Still love it to this day. It gets a solid 10 from me.
Susan and Alex. What say you?
Well, I liked it a lot. I thought it had some amazing points to it. And like I said, Christopher Lee was acting so well. Anyway, let's. And Charles Gray did kick butt. So, and people in the English countryside should find other hobbies. Just a thought. I'll give it a 9 out of 10 broken down Rolls Royce motor cars. Here you go.
Well, as I said before, I mean, you have a great cast and a cast that specializes in the creepy and the very creepy and the slightly creepy and slightly funny. I mean, it's definitely worth a watch. And like I said, if I could get the money and the right amount of DVDs together, I would buy as many as I could, because it's also horror without being too gory. And I think that people have forgotten you don't need 10,000 special effects. You don't need 10 million jump scares. You don't need 10 million. You don't need 10,000 jump scares. You don't need 10,000 special effects. You have good acting, good plot, good sets. It should be all right. So I'll give it a 8. And like I said, I'm a big fan. I'm sorry they stopped playing it in Massachusetts. I guess they finally sold it.
I'm so sorry that you don't get a chance to watch the movie, Alex. Hey ho. Brian,
Yes. Well, I'm gonna probably give this movie. I'll probably give this movie a 10 out of 10.
shock horror, 10 out of 10, and you've never seen it before in your life.
I know.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You surprise us every week, Brian, especially when you turn up. Beef Dad, what's your final say?
Well, as I say, I'd read all the Dennis Wheatley books before this film came out, and it was a superb realization. Absolutely brilliantly done, brilliantly directed, and of course, Susan, unlike Salem, there's no witches in it. These are all Satanists. But of course, Salem has probably still got all the witches there, has it?
Why, yes, indeed, sir. It's just about like 42 miles northeast of us right here. And indeed, there are a ton of witches.
Yeah, well, you be careful, girl.
Yeah.
So yeah, as I say, superbly conceived story, brilliantly put together, an amazing cast, absolutely amazing cast. Yeah, absolutely, 100%, 10 out of 10.
Thanks, B Dad. I've got to agree with what Alex said earlier. You can have horror movies without the gore, and that's what Hammer did. I mean, when the ritual of the goat, you didn't see the knife go. I mean, you got plenty of Kensington going in the ball, but that was it. And you can have horror movies like that without being too gory, and that's what modern day movies now. It's just shock, 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 and to me, yeah, doesn't work as well. But this one, it's a good movie. But for Hammer, it's not my favourite Hammer movie. There's several out there what I'd like better, but I'm going to give this one an 8 because it's still a good movie. So that's what I think of this. So please, I'd like to thank these guys here, the ones who turned up, for chatting, about The Devil Rides Out. If you guys out there like the movie, please comment below. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook. We've got a Facebook group, we've got a Facebook page. And if you want to get involved with this group, if you're on medication, because you've got to be on medication first, prescribed medication. Please get in touch with the group. Just leave a message below on the YouTube channel, on this video, or if you find us on Facebook or Twitter, just get in touch when we have time. So, without further ado, we're going to start waving bye-bye, and then we'll